Well, good morning, everybody. I'm Jan Erickson from Stepping Aside, and welcome to Somewhat Daily Tarot and Rune for the 17th day of March 2020. So happy St. Patrick's Day. So, if you're quarantined, I don't know, you're going to have to be creative to celebrate this day. I suppose if you're not wearing green, nobody's going to be pinching you, I guess. I don't understand why anyone did that, but whatever. I'm Irish, so it's just part of the way things are. I'm going to move my deal around here to get my cord out of the way. So, all right. Well, I tried to use my Mac today, but I still can't get the lighting right in here, so I don't know what I'm going to do there. Plus, the camera on it is not a wide vision one like is on this HP laptop I have. So I don't know what I'm going to do yet. I might have to get out of my still room, but I hope I don't. I kind of like it in here. I like all my stuff around me. But in any event, let's get comfortable and look at today's astrology. I think I did it for around 8:20 this morning. It's around 9 now. Let's see. Moon's in 9th house Capricorn. It's one of these moments when Capricorn's in play where we have the ability to sort of restructure things and to make plans for the future in a way that's maybe a little more reasonable and grounded. That's kind of going to have to take place right now with everybody quarantining. We're probably all just going to have to do it, whether we feel ill or not, or whether we've come in contact with anybody that we know of or not. Just to try to tamp this down. If everybody just stay home for a week or two, then I don't know. And I realize that's a little easier said than done. Let's see, Moon trine Venus. There's support there for you today, even if it's just from one person. But there is a little bit of emotional support today for people. Sun, 12th house Pisces. Time for reflection. Use this downtime to just sort of figure out just stuff in your life, if it's not going well, if things aren't doing well, if you've got conflict, if you're unsure, whatever, you can use this time productively. The rest of the forecast is basically going to reinforce that. Mercury, 11th house Pisces, intuition is still strong. We can explore interactions with others. It just needs to be thinking outside the box a little bit online, through email, through whatever, Skyping, whatever you got to do. But we need to keep a distance now, just to let this virus subside. Venus, first house Taurus, we're going to be taking care of our appearance today, especially if we're not feeling well. Just do whatever you can to make yourself feel a little better. Mars is in the 10th house in Capricorn. New directions can open right now, believe it or not. And I even if it's a life path, we can use this downtime to restructure things about how we feel about stuff. And, anytime you have a forced confinement, it's like, what else are you going to do? Really, I mean, you can only watch so much, binge watching this or that. And eventually you're going to have to talk to somebody if they're in the house with you, and you're going to have to try to, communicate with other people. You're going to have to think about things. And so, I don't know. Let's see, Mars conjunct Jupiter, gain information and use it to protect yourself and others now. Instead of, what's happening in the federal government where it's all self-dealing. And now, we can't even get the bill to pass because you've got Republicans who want, they want to get something out of it. They want to use a moment like this where people are frightened and terrified and worried and all of that, and maybe they can't go to work because their job, their work closed, or their place of employment just closed, period, for a while. So there's impact, and people are afraid, and they don't know what's going to happen. And because the federal government has told everybody, oh yeah, don't worry about it, it's fine, go on about your life, and now all of a sudden this week they're singing a different tune, well, we've missed a bunch of time where we could have gotten on top of this. But that's the short-sightedness and irresponsibility of the people in the administration and the president, that it all falls on them. No matter what they want to say, it all falls on them. And every time, okay, we can talk about the astrology, we can talk about the cards, we can talk about all of that, we can talk about how all of it can influence our lives. But if we don't listen, if we just choose to ignore it and do our own thing because it's what we feel, what suits us at the moment, whatever grievance we want to, throw out there to disrupt everybody in the moment, it's all about manipulation. It's not about coming together and doing the right thing for the greater good. Well, you're looking at a lot of things in not only today's astrological chart, but the ones we've been seeing where we have that in the chart where we can make that choice to do something better. We see that with Mars conjunct, well, both 10th house Capricorn, but also conjunct Jupiter. You use this energy to benefit all people. You're going to see this going forward here on the more outer type of planets. Jupiter, 10th house Capricorn. Again, we may need to use this downtime to expand our horizons. We may, learn how to work from home, for example. We may discover abilities we didn't know we had. Enroll in an online course. Again, Teachable's Reach Summit. You can sign up now for that. If you want to learn to write an online course and make some money for yourself that way. They're just little income opportunities you can derive from it. Also, if you wanted to take a course, I'm going to sign up today for the Herbal Academy's mushroom course. The sign up for that is all of that's under the video here. I'm an affiliate. If you sign up for any of this stuff, well, for the mushroom course, I get I make a commission on that sale, and so. I think that there's something, I think you can buy the software or something that you can use to do your online courses, and I think I get a commission on that if people sign up to do that. So I guess this is a time where you can start looking at some other things, explore some other opportunities on online stuff if you need to sort of expand your horizons right now. Use the downtime productively, in other words. But conjunct Pluto, there's a conjunct between Jupiter and Pluto as well, not just Mars and Jupiter, or not just, actually Mars wasn't Pluto, Mars was conjunct Jupiter, I'm sorry about that. But Jupiter conjunct Pluto, there's going to be some other action here with Pluto going forward. Or maybe it's just Pluto's having the same sort of experience. Yeah, that's what it is. Jupiter conjunct Pluto. We have the resolve to accomplish anything we want right now, but we need to use that power for good. The federal government doesn't understand this, and certainly the president doesn't, because that's not who he is. He doesn't think that way. He thinks about what's going to put money in his own pocket. He doesn't think about the rest of us. That's why the delay in getting anything out. That's why he disbanded the pandemic crew. And then pretends he doesn't know anything about it, right? Oh, not me. Yeah, right. But let's see, was there a Saturn conjunct Pluto, or was there a Saturn in Pluto that we were looking at too? Let me go back and look at that. Or maybe it was just Jupiter. Yeah, there's a Saturn conjunct Pluto, but it's also kind of weak right now. But it basically is talking about a new direction or a new course, and doing it in a way that is well, you're thinking about the collective. You're not thinking simply about yourself. Let's see, Uranus, first house Taurus. We're looking still at being open to change and new experiences coming. Semi-squared Neptune, guard against deception or the long-played con. I've been saying this. That's what's going on right now. We're expected to believe one thing when something else is the truth. The testing has been delayed because we had to wait for the son-in-law's brother's website to be up so that the family can make some money, evidently. Well, this is what I mean. We're being conned, and the damage is going to be profound because of it, because we've not gotten ahead of this. So they could have used their power for good, but instead you're seeing arguing, in Congress over whether or not they're going to pass that bill and what compromises they expect the American people to make. I guess there was one guy came on today my husband just told me, they're saying, yeah, do this now. Give people who need it, give them $5,000 in their pocket right now. Just give it to them. Don't worry about it. Just give it to them. Make it so that they can pay their bills, because it's not their fault that this happened. It just happened. Well, we may find that something else was the reason for it, but at this point, it just happened. And we can't afford to think anything else, because people need to be protected. But life is changing right now, and we need to understand that if you put your faith in these people, it was misplaced. There was never going to be anything there that was going to take care of you or shelter you from anything if you supported this administration. So, we've got a choice to make now. What are we going to do about that? Right? We're going to stay the course, or are we going to make a change that we need to make? So I think that's it. It's basically the same as what's been going on, especially with the outer planets. Chiron, wounds need healing, but it's not going to be easy because it's the 12th house Aries. So it's going to be some catalytic energy there, but we need to be able to create the space to come back into alignment with other people, to let go of the nastiness and the vitriol that's been going on, and understand right now that we're in a dangerous spot. And it's because the people in control didn't do anything to protect us going forward early on. Oh, we closed borders. No, we didn't. You let a cruise ship come back and let people on that had, what was there, 14 people? I don't know how many people were in quarantine off of that, like a dozen or 14 people or something, some such thing. Remember that? Oh, yeah, they've been letting them come in. And then there was a ship from Miami that docked in Miami. What was it, yesterday or Sunday? I don't know if that's the one that tried to dock in Puerto Rico and they wouldn't let them in because they knew they had people with coronavirus with COVID on board. They knew it because people had tested positive. They were looking for someplace to board or to offload their people for a while. And there was like over 3,000 people on that ship, I guess. And they just let them off. No screening, no nothing in Miami. So don't tell me that they're here to try to protect us. They're not. They don't know what they're doing. The people that know what to do, they fired all of them. Yeah. So, it's sad to see people on spring break down at the beach there in Florida. It's sad to see that because clearly, they're not taking this seriously. And, you can blame the guy in the Oval Office for that because, he spent a lot of time saying it was a Democratic hoax, didn't he? It's not real. Don't worry about it. It's fine. Everything's fine. I did a post on the weekend, and I put it on Medium, and it's the Lilith forecast for the 15th, but it's kind of, for going forward, we need to control that primal urge within to think only about ourselves. We really do. Not everybody's going to do that, and unfortunately, and it's the effect it's going to have societally is going to likely be profound. You can carry the virus without knowing it. You can pass it to others without knowing it, and you don't have any symptoms, so nobody knows to step back. And if you're not going to just do that as a matter of course, if you're not going to give yourself at least 6 foot of distance, and wear protection if you're out and all of that right now, if we all did that, we might get through this a lot quicker. But no, we're going to listen to some fool who thinks it's just fine to do it, to do whatever you want to. And now all of a sudden he's got egg on his face and he doesn't want to take responsibility. And that's what this is. This is a time where we need to look within and see just exactly is how the way that we've been interacting with one another when times get tough, is that really going to be where we want to be? Or do we want to be, on speaking terms with our neighbors or our family or whatever? Where do we want to be right now? And you can see where, because he's caused so much difficulty and so much conflict in between all of us, that it's difficult now to figure out what we're supposed to do, because the support system we used to have perhaps isn't there now. So again, some reevaluation needs to take place, understanding that where we're going right now is not workable. So in any event, let's go ahead and move on to the cards and see what they have to say, and then we'll do a rune, and then we'll close with a geomancy rune. We'll see how close we are to what's happening astrologically, and see if we can't maybe find some emphasis there to give us a different path than where we've been going of late. So maybe it'll give us some ideas as to our way out of it. So, and our way back to one another. So let's go ahead and take our first 3 cards. And again, I'm going to take the 13th one each time for randomness sake, in case you haven't been here, if this is your first time. And if it is, welcome. Click subscribe. I'd love you to do that. Well, I'll do it if I can actually, flip through the cards. Well, we have the 2 of swords, so a decision made dispassionately, our back to emotions, our back to the noise, our back to all of the divisive chaos that's sown by someone who's just shouldn't be where he is. The effect of a president can be profound. And if he's telling you or she's telling you, man, maybe that's what we need. Maybe we just need women in office now. Maybe they won't lie the way the men do. Yeah. Doesn't look like we're going to get that chance this time. Maybe we'll get a chance. Of course, if it's Biden, he's committed to choosing a woman. And I got to tell you, I'm a Warren supporter, and I hope it's Elizabeth. If it's not Elizabeth, then it should be Kamala. It really should. So I don't know. Those are my 2 choices. But at the same time, we need a new direction. We need a new path. And we could be talking about that with the 2 of Swords. Let's see what the rest of the cards are, though. We're in a 22 year, so it's a year of soul level change, where soul comes in and says, I'm going to take the reins now because y'all aren't doing your work. Here we have the Queen of Cups, one of my favorite queens. Cups signifies our emotions or the water element, whereas swords is our intellect and balance and reason. That's the air element. If you're new to tarot, the suits are divided between air, fire, water, and earth. They correspond with that. And so with swords, we're talking, our intellect, we're talking communication, balance, reason, legal decisions, fairness, justice. And then cups would be our emotions, would be empathy, compassion, emotional balance, change. It's also the power of reflection. Whereas swords or the air element would be a more projective or masculine or active presence. You're going to see with cups or with the water element, you're going to see a reflective or a feminine presence, enveloping type of an aura versus a push aura. Here we have the 4 of Swords. Respite. He's not dead, don't worry. You can see the stained glass up there that doesn't really depict, religion. It depicts more of what's going on in life. And he just needs a little moment away from all of it. And he just needs a moment to take some respite and to heal his mind, to let his thoughts settle, basically. So, okay, we're probably going to need a 4th card here. Let's decide how we're going to proceed, though. So overall, we have a 6 numerology for the reading between the 2 and the 4. That's 6. And so you're talking higher self energies, shared purpose. I think I'm going to put the 2 in the center. And no, let's put the Queen in the center. So let's go ahead and talk about the Queen. So we have a woman in authority. We see her cape there, her cloak, her robe, basically melds with the river rock or ocean rock or whatever, sea rock below. It looks like river rock, but she's right next to the ocean. She's almost part of it. She holds a beautiful chalice in her hand. And look at that gorgeous crown on her head. She's got flowers on it. You can see the cherubs above. I recommend, if you're learning tarot, I mean, if you already work tarot, you already know to have a magnifying glass. And generally speaking, my husband bought me one that has an LED light on it. And so to be able to look at the cards, though, much more closely and lit up, especially if you're looking at some of the more non-traditional decks like Crowley's Thoth Tarot, you don't want to miss anything, and you really need a magnifying glass. And one day, my husband, he saw this one and didn't tell me. He stuck it in the cart, and I didn't notice. We get it home, and I'm taking everything out, and there's this magnifying glass. He's like, "Oh yeah, I found that for you. Didn't I tell you I put it in the cart?" I'm like, "No." Husbands, you got to watch them. Otherwise, you never know what you're going to come home with. At least in my case, that's true. You just never know. My youngest son used to do the same thing. He just put things in the cart. I don't know. We managed to work it out, but but anyway, we're talking about reflection here. And that's basically what we've been talking about here. Oops, with the sun in the 12th house Pisces. Pisces is reflective. So is the 12th house. Mercury, 11th house Pisces. Let's see. Neptune, 12th house Pisces. Chiron, 12th house Aries. So we have a lot of 12th house today. So a lot of reflection, evaluating, reevaluating where we've been, reevaluating emotions. Maybe taking charge of them a little bit better than letting someone else dictate, how crazy we're going to get in the day and how upset we're going to get in the day. We need to find a way to come to a balance and to bring those to a center. And how we're going to do that is we're going to let our mind come to a rest. Our thoughts take us where we want to go, sometimes where we don't want to go. And sometimes we just have to let them settle. And when we do, we can make a decision, can't we? This reinforces it. You can see the water behind. It's not like smooth as glass. But it's not super choppy, but it's still not smooth either. So, there's a lot going on emotionally. You've got the maiden moon above, so there's something new happening. Or perhaps this is a new path forward or a new direction forward. Once she makes a decision here, she's blindfolded. She's dressed in white. She's got her arms crossed, and so basically what she's doing is she's trying to find an inner balance. Perhaps balancing either, intellect and emotions, or maybe intellect and will, or emotions and will. We don't really know for certain. We just know we see some water. We see some mountains in the background, but that's off in the distance. So there were challenges, but now she's on the other side of them, because you see the line of demarcation between her bench and where she's sitting there on the bench and the rest of the scene. You can see that line of demarcation there. So that was then. That was then, and this is now. So she's let go of all of that. She's trying to come into some kind of emotional balance about something, and to give herself time for her thoughts to settle, so that she can, first she gives herself time for let her thoughts settle, and then she knows it's time to make a decision about where we're going to go. A little bit more balanced decision than letting emotions run away with us. Here's the thing, we keep hearing it, and there was a teleconference between the president and the governors yesterday, in which he told them, and he just thinks this is the most reasonable thing in the world. Well, gee, maybe you'd get it quicker if you tried to get your, ventilators yourself and your equipment yourself. No. There's either a process in place for the government to accrue this stuff quickly, or we have it stockpiled. My understanding, and I could be wrong about this, but it should have been stockpiled. things like this. And but then again, when you get rid of the pandemic emergency team, maybe you get rid of the supplies. Is that what he did? Did he sell them off? What did he do? That's what I want to know. I want to know what he did. So here's the thing. We need to know the facts. So we just need to assume, since he's not going to tell them to us, we need to just assume that it's as bad as we think it is. And we need to just turn our backs to whatever he's doing and go ahead and take care of this ourselves. My mother used to say this. It used to drive me nuts, you know. Well, just get out of my way. I'll do it myself. It's like, I mean, the guilt alone in that was just phenomenal. But, you know, it's like it just, you know, if I got to ask if I have to, and the other one was not just get out of the way, I'll do it myself. But if I have to ask, I might as well do it myself. Right. Right. So anyway, thanks, Mom. But anyway, we're going to have to do that. You hear governors, you hear other people say, I guess we're on our own. And they're right, we are. But here's the thing. Americans we have great resolve. And we have the ability to get through almost anything, well, maybe even anything, and this is no different. And we know what to do. We know how to look. We've all had experience with the flu. We've all had experience with having to take precautions. We've all seen it. We all know what it looks like. The problem is because we didn't get ahead of it and because we didn't have a pandemic team, we weren't able to figure it out ahead of time. So we were prepared and we had measures in place for everybody. Instead, you had some idiot up there saying, oh yeah, don't worry about it, basically. I'm going to do another card. Ace of Pentacles. Something new on the horizon. Page of Pentacles is similar in terms of undeveloped potential to the Ace in the suits and also to the Fool, just in the sense of undeveloped potential. Something new on the horizon. Anything could happen at this moment. But this is about structure. This is about the earth element or our physical form or just the human themselves. Humanity itself is going to undergo a change. We are in a 22 years, so it makes sense. Change in structure, change in foundation, change in who we trust. Because ultimately, we're going to have to trust one another. It's funny because Doc Ram, he has a YouTube channel. Sometimes he gets interviewed by other folks. Richard Allen Miller, he lives down in Southern Oregon, and scientist, Magus, he's has said that when the catastrophe comes, and he's talking about, you know, not really something like this, but a catastrophe. He says it's not going to be your family unless they live close to you or something. It's going to be your neighbors that you need to depend on. And so we need to figure that out. And whatever the conflict that's been manufactured by some guy who needs to stay in power, because that's what this is, we need to let that go now. And we need to embark on something new. So definitely a change in direction, and it does reinforce what we're seeing in the numerology, or rather in the astrology as well. You know, today we have an 8 energy for the 17th day. That's an 8 energy, and so we're looking at a Tiwaz level, a God tier level of justice and awareness and from a practical standpoint, basically. So it's a leader that has the ability to see the bigger picture and to know what needs to happen to make the greater good, to protect the greater good, I guess you could say. And that's what the 8 energy is today. We need to have a different type of focus, one that's inclusive of all and heals the differences between us so that we can go about the business of protecting each other, not just ourselves. We have Isa, the 11th rune of the Elder Futhark. It's just a straight line. It's a water element. It's the contraction of will. It's alignment in higher self-presence. It's alignment in source presence. It's alignment in spirit. It can also be used to, you can draw it on the head when you have a fever to help quell a fever and soothe a fever, and or maybe, bring a little coldness to it. So, I mean, the runes are magic, but at the same time, they're divination as well. They're also a language. But Isa is one of the Norn runes. You've got Hagalaz, which is the goddess Hela, representing her. You've got, but I believe Verdandi is the Norn. Skuld is the Norn for, I believe. Is it Skuld, or it's either Skuld or Erd? Maybe it's Erd. Skuld might be Nothies. I don't know. I can't remember. I'll have to go back and look. But I should know that. But basically, you're looking at Hagalaz is another water element rune, though, and it is destruction in preparation within a fixed framework, basically. Destruction in preparation for change, profound change. Nathis is the friction within to make that happen. And Isa is the contraction of will to stay in alignment with source presence while you do so. So that's basically what you're looking at when you're looking at those three runes. But given that Isa is the 11th rune of the Elder Futhark, you're looking at a master level number, or a master number for illumination. The 11 is. Just like we're in a 22-year, if you double that, basically the illumination, now you want to make something happen. Now you can see the way forward for real profound spiritual change to take place. Given that we're in the time of ascension, since we're having such a difficult time understanding that, and people have responded so dramatically and alarmingly to the guy in the Oval Office in support, it's put us in a position where, we're going to have something profound happen on our behalf, essentially, to get us reordered in the direction we need to go. And Isa helps you do that. It helps contract your will. It helps you keep everything informed by source, informed by higher self, as opposed to being informed by the ego. We have that choice. That's the real choice. They say service to self versus service to others. And when it's service to self, then you're basically an ego-focused individual. And so everything is about self-dealing and about what's in it for you. If you think about someone else, it's because there's something in it for you. You're going to expect something in return without there being any agreement for it. It's that kind of attitude. Whereas if you're service to others, you're going to get your own needs taken care of within the collective. So I don't know why people are so concerned. That's what's going on right now with this bill to help people during the pandemic. We're going to attach some strings to it, though. It's like, but we're going to need a favor, though. We're going to need you to do us a favor, though. Same sort of thing that got him impeached. It's this same mindset that people can't just simply give for the sake of giving. There's got to be something attached to it. Well, what we're saying here is that we've got to let go of that, right? So let's go ahead and do our geomancy rune and see what it has to say. Where is a pen? There is a pen. Let's get this in order. We've got a single dot for, what is that one? Oh, that's fire. 2 dots for fire, 1 for water, 2 for air, and 2 for, oh, is that rubeus or is that albus? No, that's albus. Is it? Yep. Okay, so that's good. I mean, rubeus is the opposite of albus. I'll draw that out for you so you can see it. I didn't bother showing you what is contained within Isa because it's just a single line. So, I don't know. Component of most runes still. Let's see, we've got 2 dots for fire, 2 for air, 1 for water, and 2 for earth. And that's the geomancy rune for albus or wisdom. Turned around, you've got rubeus, which is more a lack of impulse control. It's considered evil, but it just depends. It's passion getting away from you and serious impulse control issues. You've got Pure, which is a little boy, and the same sort of thing, but just the little boy aspect. You get to Rubius, and it's even worse with that. It's very self-oriented focus. But with Albus, you're talking someone who's an older individual, the sage, the crone, that type of energy where you've got the wisdom from a life lived, basically. You could say well lived, but I don't know. Sometimes things are not as easy and straightforward as we'd like them to be in our lives. And sometimes that's where we learn the most. And so I suppose you could say it's a life well lived, even when it's one in complete struggle, because you've learned a lot from it. But I think that that's what it's asking us to do. We have to employ some wisdom right now and make sure that we're not doing something that is counterproductive to getting rid of all of this. We want life to go back to normal. It's only, all we've seen so far is the chaotic effect of nobody doing anything and the damage that gets caused. I mean, how many deaths are going to take place because, the guy in the Oval Office couldn't understand that this is not a time to lie. It's not a time to blame the other party. It's not a time to blame the last president, because everything that is happening right now is happening because of decisions this guy made. Decisions made in the past protected us. He took them all away, so we're not protected. So at this juncture going forward, we all have to employ a level of wisdom that the guy in the Oval Office is monumentally incapable of. Instead, we'll just let the son-in-law take care of it. Yeah, right. Yeah, that always works, doesn't it? Yeah. Ask the people in the Middle East. Not working at all. So. Something is wrong. And unfortunately, we have to see that and witness it and feel the effects of it while we're trying to deal with something really serious. And instead of people being completely focused on getting through it and doing the right thing for people to help everybody get through it intact or as intact as possible, they want to cause problems. So just remember that in November, who was there for you and who wasn't, who tried to find solutions and who got in the way of them. And then vote accordingly, because we can't continue this way. We have to use the Isa within and access the spirit within and the soul presence within and allow that to guide us forward instead of allowing ego to run amok and to basically destroy everything that we've built. And you see, it hasn't taken long, has it? A little over 3 years. That's all it's taken to watch everything that got built. Look at the stock market. Look where it is. It's tanking. Look, every time he comes out and does anything or says anything or makes a decision, the stock market tanks a little further. Wake up, folks. This is a mess, and we have to deal with a pandemic within this. So if we need to use this to inform us, well, then do so. And let go of the emotion. Let go of whatever you thought was. Turn your back to all of it and make a different decision. Evaluate it, reevaluate it. You come out on the same side, okay. But I bet you don't. So just drop resistance and see what everyone else sees. Okay? That's all I'm saying. So in any event, I guess that's it. Again, I'm reminding everybody about the Teachable Reach Summit for if you want to learn how to build an online course and get connected with some great software to do that. Teachable gives you their platform to run your course on. You don't have to worry about payments. You don't have to worry about any of that. You do have to buy the software or whatever you do with it, but beyond that, I'm not sure how much that is, but the point is that it gives you a platform to use to run your online courses, and you can make once you do it, then it just keeps, depending on how much interaction you want with the students, maybe it's just a passive income source for you. But right now, maybe we need to be thinking along those lines. We see the rise in the gig economy, and none of this protects people, by the way, right? It just doesn't. So I guess what this is telling people because there's so much of this going on, you have to think outside the box in terms of how you're going to live and support yourself now. Maybe things will get back to a better track with the next election. I don't know, though. We may have started something where people like working this way. They don't want something where they have to go into an office. They want to work from home. They like that experience. They like the autonomy it gives them. So in any event, this is one way to do it. So check the link below the video again, and if you're interested in doing it, sign up is on for that. And also, if you're interested, like I am, in learning more about identifying mushrooms, I'm an herbalist, and so I work with mushrooms sometimes. I do a double reishi extract, and I have some turkey tail soaking in a jar right now. I think I grew all that. I don't think I had to buy any to do that. I think I used the stuff I grew. So I grew some turkey tail in the house, and I used it to make my tincture, and it's just been soaking. I don't even know, a couple years now. I don't know. So I need to finish it probably, but the foundational aspects of it in terms of treating cancers and treating all kinds of things, keeping the immune system healthy and all of that. They're great, and so I want to have a little more. I want to be a little more comfortable though with identification, and so sign up for the registration is happening now for the mushroom course with the Herbal Academy, and so there's a link below the video again for that. Congratulations to whoever won the free course. That ended Sunday. That free giveaway ended on Sunday. So. And registration is open now. So go ahead, sign up for that if you want to. It'll give yourself something to do while in April if you're on quarantine, because it starts in April. But otherwise, it's just something cool to do. The Herbal Academy is not just for herbalists, it's for anybody that wants to learn a little more about how to make herbs work in your life and how to appreciate all of that. So it's just a very cool place. And again, if you sign up, I'll make a commission on the sale. So, because I'm an affiliate for them. So thank you so much if you do that. I appreciate it. But in any event, come back tomorrow. We'll chat again about the astrology. We'll see how the cards and the runes all factor in. And have a wonderful day. Be good to yourself. Be good to one another. And blessed be.